Welcome, everyone. So let's jump right into an absolutely fascinating story today. We're looking at how a humble family band born right in the streets of San Vicente became the undisputed emotional and cultural anchor for literally millions of Salvadorans around the world. We are talking, of course, about the legendary Orquesta International Los Hermanos Flores.
Now close your eyes for just a second, especially if you're watching from far away. Imagine that smell of freshly made pupusas, or just the feeling of that warm tropical climate. When the distance really weighs heavy on you, and that feeling of missing El Salvador hits hard, what music acts like a time machine right back to your country? Well, for the vast majority of the diaspora, that answer comes packed with the rhythm of cumbia.
Section 1. Raíces en San Vicente.
Okay, let's dive right into this. To really understand the sheer magnitude of their impact today, we've got to go back to the very beginning. And you know, the story doesn't start in some giant corporate music studio. It starts deep in the humble roots of San Vicente, back in 1960. It was entirely driven by the vision of Don Andrés Rodríguez. Now, he was a tailor by profession, but above all, he was a father who just wanted his 10 kids to work together doing something they genuinely loved. He instilled this intense professional musical discipline into them from a really young age. And on December 31st, 1960, he officially named the project. But with a really beautiful detail. He didn't use his own surname. Instead, he honored his wife, Fidelina Flores, and that birthed this purely family-driven legacy that by 1965 was already recording its very first 45 RPM records.
Section 2. El estallido de la Bala.
The real turning point arrived about 10 years later, and it completely changed the history of Salvadoran tropical music. I mean, they went from a local act playing at patron saint festivities to a massive international phenomenon, all thanks to an incredible milestone. The number 10. In 1970, their version of the song La Bala achieved the absolute unthinkable for a Central American orchestra at that time. It stayed at number 1 on the Mexican hit parade charts for 10 consecutive weeks. And from that moment on, La Bala became this obligatory anthem. Seriously, even today, if they don't play it at a concert, the audience literally refuses to leave.
And this brilliantly illustrates how their repertoire rapidly expanded to capture the absolute essence of their people. You see, songs like Mi País, La Salvadoreña, and Enfermera aren't just dance tracks. They're actually the soundtrack of the Salvadoran identity itself. They depict the history of the homeland, the incredible warmth of its people, and that deep pride in their hard work. It's basically an entire national identity beautifully captured in rhythm.
Section 3. Refugio de la Diaspora.
For the Salvadorans watching us right now from Los Angeles, Houston, or Milan, you know this music evolved way beyond simple entertainment. It became a vital emotional refuge. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that we actually have official, government proof of this massive cultural impact. Back in 2020, the Legislative Assembly issued a decree naming Nory Flores, their iconic lead vocalist, as Hija Meritísima de El Salvador, meaning a most meritorious daughter of the country. This totally validates their status. They aren't just a band. They're an official cultural heritage, recognized after over 52 years of non-stop cultural projection.
Think about it like this. When the orchestra travels on tour, for the more than 3 million Salvadorans living abroad, it's not just another concert. They literally become the little piece of homeland that comes to visit them. Their cumbia rhythms erase borders and keep that deep feeling of belonging completely alive for the diaspora. It acts as a kind of sonic umbilical cord, connecting them directly back to their roots.
Sección 4. Resiliencia de una familia.
But, you know, the band's history definitely hasn't been without its shadows. They directly share the resilient, unbreakable spirit of the Salvadoran people themselves. Over the decades, they've had to overcome some really immense hardships. In the 1980s, they suffered the painful loss of their patriarch, Don Andrés. This led to some pretty tough family separations, including Tito Flores actually leaving to form his own successful group. Later on, they even faced tragic traffic accidents involving their vocalists. But through all the tears and all the pain, their determination just never wavered. They kept right on playing.
Section 5. De San Vicente a Coachella.
Let's see how all this builds to an incredible high point. All of that history, all of that incredible resilience, and all of that deep cultural connection brings us to the absolute climax of their 65-year journey. Yesterday, they were playing local fairs and town squares in El Salvador. But today they are bringing Salvadoran cumbia to the biggest global stage in modern music. They are officially confirmed to play at the massive Coachella Festival in April 2026. Specifically, they'll be rocking the sprawling outdoor theater. And just picture this. Nory Flores is going to be up on that stage wearing stunning designs by Rosenberg Rivas, totally inspired by the Toragos bird and the Maquila flower.
She'll literally be wearing the pride of El Salvador in front of the entire world.
So I want to leave you with this final lingering thought. How exactly does a simple cumbia rhythm manage to completely erase thousands of miles of distance? Well, it's because Los Hermanos Flores are no longer just a band. They are the actual cultural heartbeat of a nation. Their music transcends borders because it carries the heavy, beautiful weight of family, of struggle, and of immense national pride. So the very next time you hear La Bala start playing, remember the incredible power behind that rhythm. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.